nonstop. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Welcome into a Saturday checkdown episode of Purple Daily here. Daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. And every Saturday we hit you with just a little, this is a 365-day-a-year show all throughout the offseason. And we figure let's just hit you with a little quick 15-minute checkdown episode here. A short pass on a Saturday covering a topic that we find interesting. And in this case, a topic that you guys find interesting too, based on the number of emails and questions about it. So we'll get to that here shortly. But the show is presented by our friends at TCL. Redefine creativity with the TCL 30V 5G smartphone. Enjoy blazing fast 5G speed, an AI-powered 50-megapixel triple camera system, ultra-realistic true-to-life visuals powered by NextVision, and booming sound from the dual speakers. Learn more at TCL.com. All right, gentlemen. I don't know if you guys saw, we had at least a handful of notes about this through the Score North app. So this is kind of a spillover Feedback Friday. I'm going to take this one from Rick Leonard. Keep hearing more about the Patriots maybe wanting to trade Mac Jones. What do you guys think about that? And there's about 5 or 10 other messages wondering, should the Vikings be interested in Mac Jones? So let's just start there. Mac Jones might be available. What do you think?
I like Mac Jones, but here's my feeling about this one. I don't know that he necessarily fits the type of quarterback that the Vikings want. I think they want somebody who is probably can move around a bit more. I think the Hendon Hooker scheme, while I don't think he's coming to the Vikings, speaks to a little bit more of what the Vikings might want. It's why Trey Lance is intriguing. Now, he did get hurt in week 2, which is a bad thing because he got hurt playing the style of football that he needs to play to be successful.
Yeah.
But Mac Jones intrigues me, but I can't help but feel like you could find a Mac Jones in the draft yourself if you were so inclined. So, like, as far as like, if I was to do a ranking on who intrigues me the most, not just from a name perspective, but just from like talents of like, what do I think the Vikings want? I don't know. Mac Jones is super high. I mean, he wouldn't be bad, but it almost feels like sort of a safe choice. And I think the Vikings have probably other ideas about this position.
And real quick, because I think this kind of comes out of left field, right? Like Mac Jones, just to put some more background on this, there's a bunch of reports even going back to the middle of last season that Mac Jones is not fond of what's happening in New England. I mean, for God's sakes, they basically didn't have offensive coaches. They had Matt Patricia kind of running the offense.
Defensive guy, yes.
It's just a weird scenario. They did bring in Bill O'Brien, who has some credibility as an offensive-minded guy, but there's some rumors now that Bill Belichick is out on Mac Jones, and so they might be looking to move on. He's got 3 years left of team control. If a team, the Patriots or otherwise, pick up the 5th-year option, so he's out there, and a lot of our conversations are sort of in reaction to the Vikings have to this point made it clear 2023 is the last year of Kirk Cousins' contract. They're in the market. They're sniffing around Hendon Hooker and Will Levis. They've had conversations with San Francisco. So this is all in the spirit of Kirk Cousins' successor, whether it's in 2023 or 2024. And if you think about Mac Jones for a moment, he does sort of fit the profile of a stock that Kwesi has already bought low on multiple times, right? Like Jalen Reagor, 2nd-round pick, stock falls, trade for him. TJ Hawkinson, top 10 pick, not quite living up to it, trade a 2nd-round pick, bring him in, 25 years old. Mac Jones, former 1st-round guy, rumored to maybe even be a top 5 pick at one point, but kind of fell to the teens, right? Sure. Stock has fallen a little bit. Last year was a weird year in New England. The offensive infrastructure is a disaster, at least up until now, with Matt Patricia and Mac Jones not seeing eye to eye. In his rookie season, he did throw for 4,000 yards and ranked just behind Kirk Cousins in QBR, despite all these weird circumstances. So could I see the Vikings looking at Mac Jones and saying, boy, if we pulled him out of that weird, sort of uncomfortable offensive mess that is New England and put him into this thing with Jefferson and offensive tackles and TJ Hawkinson and Kevin O'Connell and just a more positive, empowering head coach, What could he do? I could see them looking at him in that way, but, what's the value? You're already going to be paying Kirk $28 million to the cap, so you don't really get like the rookie scale contract value in the third year. There's like 1 year to capitalize on it, the fourth year, and then the fifth year of team control is kind of an expensive year. So I would be more.
Price?
Yeah, that too. Like, do you have to trade a first round pick, a second?
Yeah, because I'm not doing that.
I'd rather have Trey Lance than Mac Jones because I think he has a higher ceiling, and just sort of gamble on the last 3 years of him versus Mac.
Mac Jones feels safe to me. Like, yeah, it's safe, but I don't know that O'Connell and Kwesi are into necessarily being safe here.
Yeah, to your point, couldn't Hendon Hooker be Mac Jones? Couldn't you draft someone? Wouldn't you rather just draft someone, have them for 5 years, and have them be Mac Jones?
I would rather get, if I'm going to go back to our Trey Lance point, if I'm going to get a rookie contract in progress, I prefer Lance because I feel like there would be an opportunity to take a look there. And there is no question about it, unknown there, right? Mac Jones, I feel like would be fine probably. But if I'm going to take Mac Jones's contract in progress, I would prefer to try to draft a quarterback then and get the whole 5 years.
Yeah, so. I agree. I agree with that. I think, there's something to be said for you're going to get – he's kind of Kirk light, right? He's just –
that's what I was thinking.
He's not that mobile. He's got some accuracy. I'd rather have 5 years of that than trade assets for 3 years of it if there's a ceiling on it. Declan, are we wrong here? Does Mac Jones do anything for you?
No.
Okay.
I think he's mostly a tricked up pony. I mean, every quarterback thrives in Alabama's system. Like name the last quarterback that Alabama had that wasn't good at Alabama. Like they've just always had a great system guy there forever.
And NFL players everywhere. Like you're literally playing with 6 NFL receivers and running backs and offensive linemen. Like you can't crash that car if you're a competent quarterback.
So I can see why Kyle Shanahan of all people would love him because he can plug in that type of guy into his offense, pay him his rookie scale contract, and be that prototype that he likes. But from the Vikings side of things, as like the next franchise guy, or maybe just taking a flyer, I guess, if that's kind of the more spirit of this question, I'm out. Like it doesn't do anything for me. He's not mobile. He doesn't really flash anywhere. He might have a nice little career, moving around places and being a nice backup, but he does nothing for me.
Okay. So we all kind of agree. I wish there was, I don't know. I can't stick my flag in the ground and like adamantly say, yes, the Vikings should trade assets for Mac Jones. And
yeah, you're right.
So, and if you did that, by the way, you'd have to then trade Kirk Cousins too. So I don't know.
Yeah. It's sort of just a meh, right?
Meh.
Like it's like a meh.
Yeah. It's kind of like Mac Jones. He's just kind of a meh. Okay. All right. I'm going to pop this up on the YouTube screen for you guys. The Ringer has an updated mock draft from a few days ago. And you can see it on the Purple Daily YouTube channel here. The Ringer has a whole draft guide. Look at this thing. Got scouting reports. We have an updated mock draft from Danny Kelly.
Danny Kelly.
Danny.
It's a great Irish name.
DK, as I call him.
Isn't there still a bar called Dan Kelly's downtown Minneapolis, or did that close?
No, I think it's still there.
Okay.
I think it is still there.
Good spot. All right, so we've done 46 mock draft roundups. Lately, it's been all quarterbacks and receivers with like one linebacker sprinkled in for the Vikings. So just offense has been the trend lately here. Let's see what Danny Kelly from The Ringer says. He's got C.J. Stroud going number 1. Bryce Young going number 2 to the Texans, and then Anthony Richardson going to the Colts via trade here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Will Anderson, Tyree Wilson. We're going to scroll down here. Jalen Carter, a little run on defensive players. First cornerback off the board is Christian Gonzalez to the Raiders at 7. We've got the Bears taking the Northwestern offensive tackle at 9. Will Levis going 11 to the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Interesting. Okay. First receiver is Jackson Smith and Jigba at 12 to the Texans. And there's Joey Porter Jr. going.
Yeah, there's a nice run on cornerbacks right there that you just went past.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson to the Seahawks at 20. They love running backs in Seattle. Zay Flowers, the second receiver off the board, 21st to the Chargers.
The Chargers.
And that brings us to the 23rd overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. According to the Ringer, the Minnesota Vikings select USC wide receiver Jordan Addison.
I want a mock.
Interesting.
Let's see what this says here. Look at this. This is very in-depth here.
That's
Adam
crazy.
Thielen's departure leaves the Vikings' number 2 receiver spot up for grabs. Addison is an excellent complement to Jefferson, bringing high-end route running chops, good ball skills, and some after-the-catch ability. Along with Jefferson and T.J. Hockenson, the Trojan would give Minnesota a dangerous pass-catching trio. It says he's got shades of Chicago's Darnell Mooney, a wiry playmaker with the quickness and route running skills to make plays at all 3 levels, with instinctual playmaking, short area quickness, and smooth footwork.
God, this page is too much.
Dude, look at all this.
I'm just engrossed in it right now. I'm lost in this verbiage.
Yeah, there's a lot of football in here,
A lot
but
of sauce.
There is.
Jordan Addison to the Minnesota Vikings. So there you go. Another
Another receiver.
That is now, we've seen 5 different mockers send Jordan Addison to the Minnesota Vikings over the past couple months. McShay had it until he moved off it for Hendon Hooker. Jordan Reed from ESPN.com has Jordan Addison. And then CBS Sports and Walter Football also have
Oh, God.
Jordan Addison.
If Wally Football
Or was it
has
Randy and Cottage
That was
Grove?
Randy yeah. Yes.
Not
Our
totally
draft
sure.
expert deciding to plagiarize Wally Football.
Excuse me?
I don't know, the receiver thing, it just kind of feels like, and I trust Thor's eye with this, but it's not a great receiving class if you're looking for a number 1 receiver. Do you think it's too much of a stretch to be drafting someone whose ceiling is number 2 wide receiver in the first round?
Yeah.
It just feels like
Yeah,
kind of a
that does feel like a stretch, but I mean, they need one so badly. That's part of the problem. Like, they don't have, I don't think, unless there's something currently on the roster that we don't see coming, they need one to the point of to complement Jefferson. Like, that's the thing is Justin Jefferson needs it. So it's more of that's going to create opportunities for him if you got somebody who can potentially take the top off a defense.
yeah.
So the more I think about this, I think they trade back. They have 5 draft picks. They need
Agreed.
more.
Yeah,
He's gonna
especially
trade
if they
back.
can't get something for like Dalvin and Za'Darius before the draft. If you go into the draft with 5 picks, they're trading back almost certainly, right?
And if they trade back, I think he does the same thing that he did to a certain point last year, which I think he trades back, but I don't think he trades out of the first round because you do want that potential 5th-year option that you only get with first-round picks. But if you could get, if you trade back and could get a second or another third, I think that's the route. I think that's got to be the route.
Don't make me pull open the draft value chart to see what you could get. Don't make me.
I just don't know. Is a
I
second
just
possible?
did. Oh,
So-
God.
So is a second possible if you go back from like 23 to
right.
30, 31 or something?
If you go 23 back to 31, you'd be giving up 160 points on the draft value chart.
Yeah,
The
see, that's
160, the pick that's worth 160 is funny. It's actually the pick right ahead of the Vikings in the 3rd round. It's the Ravens pick at 86.
So it's not, you couldn't
So-
get a second round pick.
Well, but you could finagle it. So all right, so let's do this real quick. So the Chiefs, let's do this. Okay, so the Vikings pick 23. Should I pop this up too so people can see the draft value
put it
chart?
out there. Yeah.
Oh my God, we're such
Give
nerds.
the people what they want.
Okay. I'm getting this, by the way. I think is this the Jimmy Johnson one or is this the, I don't know. It's from
It shouldn't be that one.
drafttech.com.
Yeah, because that's an old one now. I don't think teams use that one as much now, right?
The Cowboys probably still do out of respect to
Oh yeah, Jerry Jones.
to Jimmy Johnson. So, okay, I'm going to share this with you guys on the YouTube screen. Let's figure out a trade here that appeases Judd. You ready?
Oh,
All right. Can I zoom in on this a little bit?
Yeah.
get that bigger.
There you go.
Oh.
All right.
Much better.
So you see here, the Vikings pick in the first round is worth $760. They'd be moving back with Kansas City, let's just say. So they'd be giving up 160 points in value, okay? Now, Kansas City has a second-round pick here at the end, which is worth $276. So we would have to kick back the difference between $276 and $160. Do we have $116 we can give back to them? I don't know, man. You'd almost have to like swap the second and the third. So you'd give them, here's what it would be. You move back to 31, you swap your second and third, and then Kansas City kicks in like a sixth. That's pretty much what the trade would be.
Okay.
So you'd be moving up like 25, 26 spots from 87 to 63, and then they would kick in like a 6th-round pick or something. Would you do it?
Okay. I think they would. Don't you?
But you wouldn't be getting like an extra, or you could just take the extra third. You could just take Kansas City's, and maybe they don't have one, but you could figure this out through. No, they do. You could take Kansas City's 95th.
Yep.
So you would move back to 31. You get the 95 and the 87.
I prefer personally to see them make their pick for selfish purposes because it's more fun, but I could easily see Kwesi doing exactly that.
Yep. Okay. So, and no matter what happens in the first round, we're going to be there at Park Tavern in St. Louis Park, the Surly Park Tavern Draft Party, the second annual. We're super pumped for this. April 27th. It's the first night, the first round of the draft. 6 o'clock, the gathering starts. 7 o'clock, the live stream. Around 7. We may start early, but around 7, the live stream on the Purple Daily YouTube channel begins. And we'd love to meet as many of you as possible. So if you're going to be there, we're going to be there as well. And we'd love to cheers one with you.
Or 2, perhaps, Phil. Or
maybe
if Vikings
3.
Trade back, it's going to be 3 because we can cheers before I die, which will, for one night only in the month of April, be available at the draft party. The re-debut, is that a correct word? Is that a correct usage? The re-debut of Before I Die?
I don't know if that's an actual word.
I don't think that's a word.
I'm not sure. Might have to come up with a new word there.
The return.
Relaunch.
The return or the relaunch would be.
Yeah, relaunch is sort of cliched. I was trying to come up with something more exciting. It's debuting again because it's going to be new and improved. And the cans as well. You're going to get the new cans. Show us your cans. There'll be new cans.
Yes. Looking forward to it. That's your Saturday check down episode here of Purple Daily Vikings Entertainment. We'll see you tomorrow.